this will be my closing video to Albert and our debate. And in closing, I want to say this. Thank you very much, Albert, for your courtesy and your videos and the way you presented your videos in a very professional way. I think they were received well by Catholics and hopefully by Protestants as well. And I encourage both Catholics and non-Catholics to watch Albert's videos and see the case that he presented and how well he presented it. And I think for Catholics especially, you'll find out several things. You may look at these videos and you may discover some weaknesses in your own presentations. You may discover some strengths in your own presentations. But if you look at these videos, I believe it will serve as a good learning tool for you to be sure that you are well aware of your position, and you can see from his videos and hopefully gain some information that will help you when you in the future may debate these topics yourself. It'd be well worth your while to watch his videos and see how well he presented his case. And it may help you to shore up your weaknesses, and it may even help you with your strengths as well. It did me when I watched his videos. It showed me some weaknesses that I had and showed me some strengths that I had. And but the thing is, they are a learning tool for me, where I can take and be sure that I solidify my case more in the future should this arise. For instance, what I'm talking about there is Albert had talked about Melchizedek. He talked about the keys of David in Isaiah chapter 22. From Melchizedek, he didn't see the continuation of the priesthood as far as the Catholic priesthood, that is, how it perpetuated from there. In David keys, he and I had an interpretation difference there. In Acts, not Acts, but in Matthew chapter 16, while Albert may see that yes, Peter may have held some position there at the early church, that Acts chapter 16 didn't specifically to him show any more authority than any of the other apostles had, as evidence from chapter 18, where it talked about each one of the apostles having the ability to bind and loosen. Chapter 15 of Acts, we had another interpretation difficulty, and how we arrived at our conclusion from it. Naturally, my conclusion would have been that Peter took a prominent position there. Albert went and talked about the James argument, where he felt that James took the prominent position there. And again, that is a matter of our interpreting it one way or seeing it one way. But from it, I think that Catholics and non-Catholics both can learn something from it to strengthen their positions and know how to answer these arguments and maybe clear up more difficulties that one or the other person may have as well. We had some differences in the way church history is interpreted. One thing about let me talk about this while I'm talking about church history, is that people need to be very careful when they're citing what someone has said, because I found out that on both sides, and on the non-Catholic side and on the Catholic side as well, many times you will read a quote made by a person that you trusted, and rather than go and checking that quote out, you just went ahead and used it. The problem I found is that on both non-Catholic and on the Catholic side is that people made quotes, but once you went to search it out and to find it, the quote wasn't there, or it wasn't an accurate quote to begin with. They just took someone's word for it and went ahead and made the quote without checking it out. So it should encourage you to be sure that when you put a citation down, that you're getting the right citation. I had some problems with Cyprian. There were several quotes in Cyprian letters that I wanted to use, and I had found the quotes that were made by someone else, sometimes Catholic, sometimes non-Catholics. And when I went to find the quote in Cyprian's letters, and I have those letters, the quote wasn't there in the place they said it was. Sometimes the quote wasn't there at all, but sometimes the quote was there, but it was not in the letter or on the page that they said it was. So then you had to go through all of the letters, which is like some 79 or so, I forget how many now, but you had to go through all of those letters to find that quote. And then when you did find it, it was totally in a different letter and on a different page than it was first cited. I found a few of them were accurate, but the majority of them were not accurate. They weren't on the right page. They weren't on the right letter. They may have been there, but they weren't in the right place. And then you had to, let's say, you had to go through those 79 letters to be sure you had the right quotes. I think you can see from that that it's crucial that when you see something you like, fine, use it, but only use it if you can run it down and be sure and verify that that is the correct quote, because many times it's not. And Albert well knows that from a lot of the readings he's done too, that you got to be very careful when you're citing people to be sure you get the right quote. But the biggest thing I learned from this, I suppose, is that Albert presented his case very well, and it can be a good learning tool for any Catholic or non-Catholic that will go look at them and look at mine, and in some way draw some strengths out of there that you can use. Maybe look at someone's weaknesses and how they could be shored up more, but use them as a learning tool. The second thing that I want to point out here as well is that Albert and I weren't trying to convert each other to different religions. What we were trying to do is to present our cases so people could look at them. But through this, I think hopefully people can find out something else. We're not going to have a debate if all you want to do is call the Catholic Church the whore of Babylon and the Pope the Antichrist. The debate, it will never get started, because first of all, you can't historically or biblically prove those things. And the second thing is, all you're doing is using guesswork and biasness when you spew those things out. And there's absolutely no debate that's going to take place if that's going to happen. Neither is it going to happen if I go over to Albert's videos and start making comments about the Anglican Church and how wrong they are, or calling them some off-the-wall names. A good debate is not going to take place when that stage is set. But Albert and I knew that we weren't going to start videos and start doing that. We'd already discussed that, and it just wasn't going to happen. Albert presents his case very well, and I hope I did too. And our hopes were that Protestants, non-Catholics, and Catholics can see that two people with varying viewpoints can have a debate without there being name-calling and mudslinging going on. And to that end, I owe Albert an appreciation and a gratitude that he was kind enough to enter this debate. And it's quite by accident that it ever happened. He uploaded the wrong video one day, and I happened to look at it and saw where he was asking some Catholic to debate him on those points. And so I went to write him an email and went back to look at the video a second, and it was gone. Well, then I wrote him an email about the video, and he said, yeah, it was just the wrong video he had put up. He had put up the right one. And so from there, I talked about it. Well, if you want to do this, then I'll do it as well. And from there, he and I were able to discuss what we were going to talk about, the length of the videos, and so forth, and came up with our videos. So it was quite by accident that it happened, but I'm so glad that it did happen now. And I want to thank Being Bob for his help in running some material down for me. Most of all, family and my wife. I could find a quote, and I'd be looking for it 2 hours later, and I'd mention it to her in 10 minutes. She'd have it. I don't know how she finds these things so quick, but she does. So I want to thank those two people, and again Albert for his courtesy and the the way in which he presented his views of this, and hopefully people can learn from mine and his as well, and take them as a learning tool to strengthen your points, and to see that two people who are interested in knowing something can get that together and have a peaceful debate without there being a bunch of name calling and mudslinging when it happens. So thank you very much, Albert. I'm going to close my closing statements now and give you an opportunity to do the same thing, and I look forward to working with you on things in the future. And for those of you who don't know Albert, when you look at these videos, be sure you subscribe to him. It would be well worth a subscribe and to listen to his videos. Thank you, and God bless.